Hello, I am Baymax. Oh no. Hello. Hello.
Hey everyone, this is SpideyFan 101 coming to you at 4:42 in the morning to get to some Big Hero 6. Now, I might have to take a little pause because my camera has one bar, but I'm gonna get as much as I can before it goes off. So, yeah, a little funny story about my camera. I was getting ready to make this video first off, and I was just all hype from this episode. I'll get to why later. But, all of a sudden, it was just out of focus. Like, it was out of focus and then go back in focus. So I was worried that the camera might have been broken. But then, I left it off for I left it off for like a minute, and then I opened it back up, and now it's back to normal. So that's a relief. So anyway, this episode was really good. I really like how it was structured. I really like the plot elements. I like what the story leads to. I like how the story builds throughout. Yeah, I really do. So, the episode starts off with Hero, Baymax, and Fred going off into what consumes the middle of the night to this diner because there's a call of distress. It turns out that there is a robot causing havoc in there. So naturally it starts attacking Hero, Baymax, and Fred. So Hero gets underneath the counter to basically come up with plans as to how to defeat this robot, and while that's happening, Baymax and Fred are trying their very best to stop it. But, Baymax is getting frozen, and the robot's chasing after Fred. So, Hero is coming up with ideas, and then Hero thinks of an idea. He's like, Baymax, Rocket Fist. So Baymax does a Rocket Fist, the robot jumps up, Hero grabs the robot, flips behind the counter, and puts puts the robot in a bowl, in a giant pot of soup, boiling hot soup, and traps it in there, and of course it short circuits and fries up. So the day is saved. So we think. The waitress of the diner comes out and says, "Hey, they still took the money." And Big Hero, Baymax, and Fred are kind of taken back by this because they thought, but we just destroyed the robot. So they hear on a newscast the next day that there was actually a second bot that went in there and took the money from the cash register. So the team is basically trying to figure out who is behind the making of these bots. So Hero starts to theorize, and he's like, "Hey, I think I know somebody because the robot has a particular mark on it, like a logo of sorts, and he knows a guy that does that exact logo." So he goes over to Good Luck Alley with Go-Go and Baymax to investigate this, and when they get there, they find out that the guy that he's looking for and thinks is the guy has been arrested or is being arrested. So we cut back to Fred's mansion, and the team is trying to figure out who did it. So Hero came up with 3 more suspects that he knows from Good Luck Alley that are not into espionage or just stealing money. So Fred gets the glorious idea from a comic book, of course, that they need to go undercover. And so Hero's like, "That's a good idea. We should go on. I should go undercover." But the team is a little, because Hero is going back to the bot fighting place, and Hero has recently had, well, not recently, but he's had an addiction before with bot fighting. So of course the team is, you know, a little skeptical. So Hero makes his way down. And so Hero goes back to his house, schedules, and he sees that there's a bot fight tonight. Lo and behold, there's a bot fight tonight. So he goes. Baymax is telling him, like, maybe you shouldn't do this because of the fact that, you know, he knows that he got addicted to bot fighting. And Hero's saying to Baymax, look, this is the right thing to do. I have to go. So he goes, he makes his way down Good Luck Alley. He goes into the bot fighting place. He's undercover. He's got a hoodie on. Yama and the announcer from the first movie are basically plotting stuff, I guess. Because all they do is, Yama's over here, the girl's right here. She's like... So I can only assume that they're plotting something. So, this girl is doing this like little snake centipede looking robot. And it's going up against this hammer robot. Not one that was in the diner, but it's a robot. And she loses, and she's taken off the leaderboard. And the guy is just like, hey, you should give up. You're not good at this. And she says something like, I'm only just starting. And so Hero looks at this. He smiles at her. Sees, he remembers the mission. I just forgot that he was actually smiling at her. So he forgets that he has to go undercover. So he goes undercover, he hides behind a wall. He goes up there, try to get to Yama's office. Yama comes out. He's all startled because he doesn't know what to do. Yama's right there, the guards are right behind him. And then these hands pull him underneath this counter. And it's the girl that he was smiling at. And so they have a discussion about how Hero was a legend in terms of bot fighting, and everyone thinks that he just gave up. And we obviously know that he didn't give up because, you know, he got arrested that night. Him and Tadashi got arrested that night. And of course that's when he went to S-Fi, and then he met the team, and then everything transpired. So, of course, everyone thinks that he gave up. So he's like, I didn't give up. And my aunt got tired of me getting arrested. So, you know, he goes because he's undercover, he can't blow his cover. So he's like, oh, I'm here to get back into it. I'm here to start bot fighting again. And she's like, mm-hmm. She doesn't actually say, mm-hmm. That's just a sarcastic remark. But Hero says, by the way, your bot needs some work. And she's like, oh yeah? So she takes him, and he's like, he puts this code into the robot just to, you know, put his own spin on it. And we'll see how this works with the bot later on. But he basically installs some new upgrades with her robot, so it could work better. And so she's like, thanks, Hero. Thanks, Hero, for improving my bot. And he smiles again. And I think he's blushing here. But, like, listen, all I'm gonna say is anybody is better than Carmy. That's all I'm gonna say. Anybody is better than Carmy. So, we cut to the next day. The team is just sitting there eating lunch in the cafeteria. Hero comes up with a burrito. He starts to sit down. Fred goes like... Everybody's looking at him. He's like, what? He's like, did you find out if Yama was responsible? Did you find evidence? And he's like, no, I need to go back tomorrow. Because, of course, because the girl was there, he forgot about his actual objective. So, you know, he has to go back again to find out and to find the evidence. So, Gogo is obviously like, he's fakes. Because Hiro starts smiling. And so, Gogo looks at him and he's like, that's a fake frown. Because he puts a frown on because Gogo starts staring at him. And obviously, because Gogo is so awesome and dear to my heart, she obviously knows that he's lying. Right, about something. So we cut back to the bot plate. We cut back to the bot fight. The girl is using the centipede robot with this chainsaw dinosaur looking thing. The chainsaw dinosaur looking thing cuts it up. And he thinks he won, but really, nope. It comes back together and destroys it. Or is it? By blasting it. So, yeah, it turned out the upgrade worked. They talk about how, actually she talks to him about how, look, if you're good at something, you gotta stick to it. And of course, she's referring to the bot fighting. Now, obviously, you know, this isn't good because Hiro is supposed to stop bot fighting because, you know, he can't get back into that life. Not only is it super illegal, but it's also what got him in that position before he became a hero. No pun intended. So Baymax, and so he gets home late. He grabs his Megabot. Baymax wakes up. He's like, "Hello, Hiro. You are back late." And he's like, "Yeah. I'm back late, but yeah. Did you find the evidence that Yama is responsible?" No. I need to go back again. Because he forgot the objective again. At this point, he's going there to see the girl. So we cut back to this bank. And this robot comes up, hits the bank machine. Money just flies out. And the robot's getting away. But Hiro, Baymax are there. And Honey Lemon's there to corner the robot. And, you know, the robot throws the bag of money at Honey Lemon. Honey Lemon's chasing the robot, trying to stop it. She can't though because it's too fast. But Hiro and Baymax are going straight in to see if they could defeat it. But Hiro has a master idea. He's going to use his magnetic gloves to try to get it. But since that didn't work, he used his magnetic glove to get the sewer grate. So it flies up. Honey Lemon hits it with a cannonball and it's down for the count. So now they have a robot to actually get evidence from. So they go into it. They see that it's like this special coating. So they need to figure out. And so this is all. So this is a part of all the evidence they need. So once that's done, he's gonna go back to the bot fighting place, obviously, to see the girl. Obviously, he's going in saying, "Oh, I'm gonna fight Yama." And Wasabi's like, "Wait a minute, where'd the fighting come from? I thought we were just going undercover." But no, he's like, "Yeah, I had to fight him." Peace. And then he goes back to the bot fighting place. He says that he wants to do the bot fight, and he wants to bot fight again, but Hiro has been blacklisted ever since the event happened in the movie. So the announcer lady from the first movie goes, "Hey, you're blacklisted. You can't be here." And so he's like, "Well, I guess you won't get your views then, because me going up against Yama after all this time would get a lot of views." And she's like, "That's true." So she lets him in, and the first contestant is the girl that he has a crush on. So their robots get into a fight. Obviously, Hero's Megabot wins because, you know, it's obviously skilled like that, or it was going to win. Until the cops showed up immediately before it happened and, you know, just arrest Hero. They didn't arrest the girl because as soon as he looked back, she was already gone. So he was like, oh no. And we get this really heart-wrenching scene where Hero Cass and Baymax are driving back home, and Aunt Cass is really pissed with Hero, and I forget what she says, but here, let me see. Here, let's listen to it.
What?
Let's listen to the conversation.
Tell you that part? You know what? You're grounded, Hero. Maybe some time alone will help you remember what's important.
Just the like shakiness in her voice, like the absolute, I wouldn't want to say disappointment, but actually that would be the perfect word to describe it. Like, just the absolute disappointment in her voice. Like, it really got to me. But yeah, that was a really emotional scene. So Hero goes back to the lab, and he's like, look, I've been messing up, but I need to go back there one last time. I need to go back there again. And they're all like, okay, whatever. Because he'd been there like the last couple times, and, you know, he didn't find anything. So he puts up a suspect, like, and he says, like, look, if I don't do this, people that are innocent are going to keep getting arrested. So, yeah. We cut back to him in his room, and he's looking at a picture of him and Tadashi. And, you know, Baymax, of course, shows a recording of Tadashi, and he's all like, I don't know about Hero, Baymax. I mean, he's wasting his talents doing all this bot fighting. You know, I don't know how to help him. So he sees that recording, and now he knows what the magnitude of this bot fighting used to be and how he used to be with it. And so, you know, he goes back like to the bot fighting place. He sees the girl there, and she's like, you know, I had to go. She didn't obviously say it like that, but, you know. He's ready for the bot fight now. So, now, obviously, the Megabot wins because did you see what it did in the first movie? Yeah, obviously it won. So she's all impressed. So I had to wait for a while for the camera to, you know, charge back to a reasonable state. So, she's impressed with Hero because, you know, he managed to beat her. And he keeps working his way up on the leaderboard until he eventually runs into Yama. And Yama is all taken back by this because he didn't expect him to be back in the bot fighting game. And so while they're having a rematch, and the rest of the team are looking and investigating Yama's office and computers and stuff to see what information he has. So Gogo finds this little scanner thing and that requires his fingerprint. So she goes all Scott Lang and takes a piece of tape, gets his fingerprint on it, and uses it to do a finger scan. That's literally what Scott Lang did. So she does that. It works. It reveals a pair of shoes. And we come to find out that there's a video on the computer that that starts playing. And actually no, they find shoes and not a hard drive. What am I saying? A flash drive. There we go. So they put the flash drive. So Gogo puts the flash drive in, and the team sees something terrible. And we don't realize what it is, but you know, Hiro wins again. So, you know, he finds out, and so he contacts the team, or the team contacts him. He's like, "Did you find the info?" And they're like, "Nope, we found something a lot worse." It turns out that they found Yama's audition video for Dancing with the Stars. That's really the only thing I can describe it as. So we realize that Yama's not the one that's responsible. It's actually the girl that Hiro has a crush on that's responsible. So he's like, "Hey, I know that you're responsible. Why don't you end it now before, you know, it gets too bad?" And she's like, "You know what? That's a no." And so she makes this giant robot out of every single piece, and even uses Hiro's battle bot, or microbot, sorry. And it forms this giant Transformers looking combiner that starts attacking everybody. The girl gets away. Hiro is about to chase after her, but realizes that the team needs his help. So he goes back inside and tries to get his Megabot to actually, you know, follow his orders again. So once that happens, he gets control of his bot again. He gets control of Megabot again. Sorry. And Megabot just goes in and tears this thing apart. So once that's all said and done, the robot lands on Fred. The robot lands on Fred. We cut back to Hiro's house, and he's apologizing to the team for being tempted into going back into bot fighting. And so they all have a group hug. Now this is the crazy part. We see the girl again, and he's like, "I did what I had to do, father." And I'm like, this is the warehouse. There is no way that that's who I think it is. And yup, lo and behold, who comes out of the shadows? Obake. So at first I was like, "Oh my god!" But then the scene kept going, and he's like, "Hey, okay, you got it." But then he grabs her face, and her face opens up, and it turns out she's a robot. So turns out, and she got like a hologram of Hiro saying some stuff, and so Obake is pleased with the robot, and the episode ends. Oh my god. Nobody is messing with Obake. I'm telling you right now. I am telling you right now. Man, this episode was great. I really like the whole, like how the story was told in this. I really like the fact that Hiro was being tempted into bot fighting, and you know, it was kind of getting to his head, and he had to realize why he got out of it in the first place. I found that really interesting. And the fact that it was intertwined with like this detective element was also good too. So out of 10, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. Great episode, no flaws here. So yeah, I'm Spyful 101 saying peace.
Hello. Oh. Oh no. Oh no.